Hey gorgeous friends, welcome into my channel. My name is Jackie Alves, and today we're going to be talking about 5 things that are aging you. I know, and everybody's got their things that they want to tell you, like don't do this or it's going to make you look old. And some of the stuff I hate, like you have to wear cream or you're going to look older, or don't wear shimmer or you're going to look older. So I'm not really about all of that nonsense. So don't panic, because it's not that kind of show. I really like you to do what makes you feel beautiful. And I don't want you to feel like there's rules, but I am going to show you some things that maybe you didn't realize are actually aging you. And I just want you to ramp up your makeup routine a little bit, okay? So right now, all I'm doing is just putting a little spray at my roots. This is not a younger looking tip or anything, but I did just learn this from my friend Janine Mascarella, who lives over in New York, and she's an editor-in-chief of a beauty magazine, and I know she knows what she's talking about. But this will add some lift to your roots if you do this while you do your makeup. So when I let it down, it's going to be like, pew, and then it will be an 80s flashback, and then, we will all be living our best life. But anyway, let's get to the makeup part. So I, of course, use some great skincare. My skin looks and feels amazing. It's freshly exfoliated. And now I'm going to go ahead and head into primer, but I wanted to show you something new. This NYX Face Glue Primer. Now, I really like the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. I don't use these a lot on my own face. I use them a lot for special occasion makeup appointments here at my makeup studio at the Beauty Bar where I live in Arizona. But there's a time and a place for these. It's just not every day, and it's not always on my mature skin face. But I wanted to show you this one because I'm seeing it everywhere. All the girls here, all the makeup artists that work here with me, they're all younger than me, of course. And they are blabbering and yapping about this stuff and say it's great and wonderful. So I tried it a couple times, and it actually does have a great grip on it. Now, what that means for you, your foundation's going to stay in place. It's not going to slide. If you feel like that's a problem, like your foundation slides, it doesn't stay put and it doesn't last very long, a grip primer will really help you with that. But what was really cracking me up the most about this is it reminds me, of course, of a glue bottle. And it reminds me of Elmer's. Let me see if this silly camera will focus on it. I guess not, but I'm just going to tell you that it reminds me of when I was in 5th grade and I used to put glue on my hand and peel it off all the time. And now I'm obsessed with peeling masks. So I don't know if that's just a thing that's in me or what the deal is, but give it a quick second to dry. There we go. I'm going to head into my foundation, and I'm going to use a cream foundation today. You absolutely can use liquid with this if that's what you prefer, but I am loving this new cream foundation by Lime Life. Made some great friends over there, and I'm loving a lot of these products. And especially for my friends with mature skin, I just did a few full face makeups on some friends with mature skin, like my friends in their 70s. So I don't mean like they're 42. I mean they're 72. And I used all these Lime Life products. I wanted to put it all to the test, and man, we were impressed. They were impressed. I was impressed. Their husbands were impressed. It was all, we were very impressed. But you guys, I just wanted to share that with you because I've not been a fan of cream foundation in the past. Going through menopause, hot flashes, I felt like everything was separating like Italian salad dressing on my face, and I was getting kind of sick of it. So I kind of warded off cream foundation for a while, but now that I feel like I've got my hormones back in balance, I'm not flashing as bad as I used to, and I feel like I can really get some good, beautiful looking skin out of a cream foundation. Now, I don't wear it every time. There's a different place and a different time for all foundation formulas. Like sometimes I need a long wear liquid. If I'm going to be on stage, I might need a matte finish. But for beautiful everyday looks, I love a nice, healthy, not like a dewy finish or a glow, but just a nice, healthy, natural, moist looking finish. All right, so I also just drank a bunch of coffee and over caffeinated. I'm really excited, and I'm also a little warm. So we are putting some of these products to the test. But now let's get into the things that are aging you, okay? So if you are, and I want you to think about something. If you are using a mineral foundation or a powder foundation and it's leaving you looking really white and light and ghostly, or if you're obsessed with trying to get those pink undertones in your foundation because that's what you used to wear in the 80s, I want to tell you that maybe you should give those warm undertones a try. Especially at our age, we really need to put a glow up back in our skin. And a lot of times we've got the redness. So warmth in foundation sometimes will cancel out that redness. So, quit with that pink, sort of veiled light look to your skin and start bronzing up, my friend. That is really going to help you stop aging yourself so much with your makeup. And it's really going to add to and give you a more beautiful glow. Now, I want you to see something. This is another thing. I have my top 5 tips I'm sharing with you today, but there's going to be so many. I'm going to make your head spin. So some of you out there like to take notes, and that might be a good idea. So the next thing I was going to tell you is, you can see I'm putting foundation on my eyelids, but I'm not putting any underneath. Now, a lot of you, if you've been watching me for any time at all, you know I go back way later and do the concealer. I don't like putting a bunch of stuff under my eyes in the beginning because I like it to be fresh. I don't like a bunch of product to get into it, but I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to keep it looking really beautiful so that you, again, don't age yourself. All right, I think I've got a good amount of foundation on here. I really don't have too much. I'm going to come closer. You guys, just look how beautiful and natural it looks. You can still see some discoloration around here, which is fine. I'm not looking to just plaster my whole face. It's okay. I've got a few spots, dots, and whatever else is going on. I couldn't think of anything that would rhyme, but it's fine. Now, I want to use just a little bit of a translucent powder. So right now I'm just going to use a loose powder. You can use a pressed powder. You can use a colored powder if you like. But I'm going to use a really I'm going to use a really soupy brush. I'm going to use a super fluffy powder brush. And this is the Graftobian HD powder. And what it's going to do is just really super lightweight kind of dust over that foundation. Just buff it and set it. I'm not really interested in matting anything down at this point. I really just want to create a point at which it just kind of dries down and it's soft and powdery and set, ready to receive the contour and the blush products. So let's hop into that. Okay, with just a little bit of bronzing powder, I've just got a good basic one. You can use something a little more neutral if you feel like this is too much orange for you. It's okay. But I'm going to use a nice fluffy slanted brush. It's really nice and fluffy. And just a small amount I'm going to get under my cheekbones, my forehead, and underneath my jawline, but a nice light bronzed effect. Especially as we age, we don't really want to sculpt too much. We want to go with that soft sculpt. Okay, so you could be aging yourself with so much contour, especially if you've got any loss of volume under here, if your cheekbones are real high and maybe, you're just getting a little bit of skin giving way here, and now you've got these like kind of deep inset areas here. You don't want to sculpt under them and make them look more obvious. What you want to do is just give a soft sculpt bronzed effect, which gives you more of a glow rather than a chiseled look. And that's part of the problem. As we age, we lose a lot of the glow in our skin. So, instead of using a bunch of bronzer, like the highlighted bronzer that's shiny, or I don't know, like just a lot of those products that are supposed to give you a glow, or, glass skin, or all this stuff, maybe just putting a really beautiful bronzed effect back into your skin is going to give you a beautiful glow. I have noticed that, my husband doesn't notice my makeup much because he knows that's what I do. Sometimes I come home looking crazy, and sometimes I don't have any makeup on. So, he's not really sure when he should comment, probably. But I have noticed that when I just have just a beautiful sun-kissed bronzy look, he really does like it. And I think it's just because I look healthy and just real pretty. You know what I mean? Instead of like sculpted and snatched and all the things that we want to do that we see is, you know, super cool and we want to try it, and that's okay. But I mean, honestly, I'm finding that my husband just makes comments when I just look genuinely pretty and glowy and healthy. Go figure, right? Now I'm going to put a little bit under here. Now, don't get me wrong, you know, my life isn't about just seeing if I can get him to comment. My makeup life, I mean. I do like to do crazy makeup sometimes. I do love glitter. You know, I do love to have fun with makeup, obviously, because you guys, you know, this is the channel of no rules. Yes, indeed. So welcome into the channel of no rules. And that's kind of how I live my life with makeup, hair, style, all of it. I don't really like to follow rules, but I do want to look my best, you know, so let's do that. So just a little bit right under here, and I'm not pulling it down this way because that will definitely age you and elongate your face. So let's bring it up. And then right here on the forehead, leaving the middle. And now I've left the jawline. Now, a lot of times when you're seeing the videos, I know that right here is going to look really light and bright. And sometimes people comment, you're so crazy that your chin and around your mouth is so light. I know, it's the lighting. It's okay. But I want to let you know that if that's happening to you and you're feeling that way, just take some of your bronzer and just bronze yourself back up. But most of the time, this is just going to create a nice, almost defined jawline. So it's okay to be a little bit lighter right through here, okay? So now I'm gonna do a little bit of blush. Let's talk about blush really quick. So purples, Merlot, mauve, a lot of those shades do tend to age us. It's almost like they bring out the purple veins or the redness in our skin. So, and I'm not saying across the board, because, you know, if you're gonna be wearing something mauve or burgundy, you know, have fun and get matchy-matchy if you want. But I like to wear what looks best on my skin and what makes me look really pretty and youthful more often than, you know, just trying to match my outfit. So, you know, a pink or a nice peach really does bring out a youthful glow. So I want to show you a little combo that I like to use. Not that, that's not even what I was looking for, I swear. So I've got this one shade that's kind of like, almost like a nude blush right here. Not really nude, but you know what I mean. It's kind of a neutral shade, but I do occasionally like to add a little bit of the pink on top or a little bit of this coral, just a light, little bit right on top. It's like a sunset blush technique. So I will take that more neutral shade and I'll just add it right on top of my bronzer, just a little bit. I can always go back and add more. You know, once I get the eyeshadow and everything done, I'm usually like, oh God, I need way more blush. I look so dead. So it's okay, you can go back and add more. And then I'll take, I think I'm gonna go with this real pretty orangey one. I do like the pink as well, but I'm gonna add it right on top of there. So what happens is you have almost like a sunset effect. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen a sunset in Arizona or maybe even New Mexico, but dang. They are beautiful. So if you feel like you got a little crazy with your blush, it's okay. You can blend back with your foundation brush, or later when we do concealer, you'll notice it's really gonna all come together. So let's hop over into eyeshadow and eyeliner, and I'm gonna show you a beautiful tip that's going to keep you from aging yourself. Let's go. All right, I have a beautiful palette here from my friends over at Lime Life and a few of the shades from the Blue Eyes palette. So I'll go ahead and put the link in the description for the Blue Eyes palette if you want to get your hands on it. It's probably one of the most beautiful eyeshadow palettes I've ever used. And it's not beautiful just on blue eyes, but it definitely complements those blue eyes. So I'm gonna start with the lightest shade first, and it's a cream color and just a nice big fluffy brush right now. Just go on the bottom, lashes to brows, and side to side. Right now I'm hopping into that reddish brown shade right there. It's really beautiful on the warm side, obviously. Really gonna pop some blue and green eyes, and even those brown eyes that have gold. Definitely it's gonna bring out the gold too. So doesn't matter the shade of eyes you have, I think you would like this. So I'm gonna go right in the outer corner. Now what I'm doing is bringing it down to the lashes and fading toward the nose. Bring it up towards the brow. Notice I haven't dipped back in the product. I just continue to blend A little bit of patting and a little bit of circular blending, bringing it out, okay? Don't just get lost right here and be like, here's a little bit of eyeshadow. Like, get in there, start bringing it out, keeping it lighter in this inner area and darker out here. What's happening is you're really flanking those outer corners. You guys look at my friend, her name is Jackie also, great name. Look at her photo. This is her before photo. Look at these hooded lids right here. See how hooded that eyelid is. Now, this is my friend who is 72, one of them. I did several ladies just recently that are in their 70s. But look at the after photo. Look at this eyeshadow. And I'm not gonna go this dramatic today, but look how that depth on the outer corners really creates that lifted, more open eye. Big difference. So you can trust me on this technique and give it a try. And use those warm shades. I know cools are really hopping and popular right now. So honestly, use whatever shade you like, but those warms really are complementary. So keeping it nice and dark, I'm just putting a little more of the same shade. So I do like to build it up and make sure it's really well blended so that you can't see where it ends or where it begins. All right, let's hop into the next shade. Okay, right now I'm going to take the little sort of shimmer shade. And you know what, I'm just gonna use my ring finger and just add a little bit right on that inner corner. And you can use a different shade if you like. I just really love a shimmer right here on the bottom inner corner. And now I'll take that same eyeshadow brush I've been using and just back blend a little bit, just to make sure that, you know, it's diffused really nice. And now that darker shade of brown with a small brush right on the bottom. Now, this is definitely a tip that's going to help you not age yourself. So instead of a big black line underneath and going all the way around with some black eyeliner, try a little bit of brown powder underneath and go about halfway or 3/4 of the way over. It'll still give you great definition, but it'll be nice and smoky. And that way you don't have to worry about it being crooked. It's gonna look much softer and really complimentary right in the lash line. And even on top, a little bit of that same dark brown. And this is almost like an eyeliner. And I'm just really defining my lash line here. So that eyeliner can definitely be aging you. So perhaps picking some powder to substitute and still giving definition to that lash line would be a good option for you, especially if, you know, maybe your hand isn't as steady as it used to be, or your vision is crap like mine. This might be the answer to your problems. But I'm not saying give up that definition, especially on the top, because I really do like to still go back with an eyeliner. And right now I'm gonna go ahead and use a brown eyeliner. This one is a beautiful, incredible gel formula, you guys. It is super stay put. I'll go ahead and drop this in with the eyeshadow in the description below so you can find these together. But I like this formula because it goes on really smooth, super silky, but man, it dries and is really nice and long wear. Now, something I want to show you is I have created the fat triangle on the outer corner, but I didn't bring it out like a wing. I really just created a little triangle here, and then it disappears into my lash line. Halfway over, it completely disappeared. I didn't want to bring it all the way over because then it's just going to contribute to closing off that inner corner, and I want it light and bright. And now if you felt like, you know, you just can't get that fat triangle right, or maybe it's a little crooked or just not looking the way you want it to, maybe go back with that dark brown eyeshadow again and just tap it right on top and get it to smoke out just a little bit. sometimes that nice smoky liner is really forgiving, and it's like you did it on purpose. Like, hey, look at my smoky wing. I'm a super makeup artist. It was really just a mistake, but nobody needs to know. It'll be our secret. All right, let's strengthen up our brows. I'm just gonna use a brow powder by my friend Sarah B. Beauty. She's a makeup artist. She has a line of her own makeup. She has a few great things in the collection, some different brow products, and you can find her on Instagram, even on Facebook, Sarah B. Beauty. But any brow powder will be fine. So I'm not saying like this is the best one. I love it and it's a good one, but whatever brow powder you like. You should definitely get something that has 2 shades though. So something that is definitely going to age you is the blocky brow, where, you know, it's just like this hardcore thing, or those little thin pencil brows, and also getting them really uneven. So you guys, let's talk about brows. I know they're not easy. That's why I have permanent makeup, is because it's not easy to do them every day. But even with my permanent brows, I still go over them with powder, and I like to use a lighter shade on the inner corner because it's gonna keep it looking softer. So let's take the lighter shade and a little slant brush. First, you know, just make sure you don't have any product in your brows. Now I'll take the lighter shade and let me come really close to you. I'm gonna just go right, easy on the inner corner. Even soften it up if you still feel like you got a little too much, and then transition to that darker shade. Now, if you have gray hair, it's not super easy to match them, but there are some good ones out there. I'm still keeping it a little bit on the warm side with my brows because a gray brow isn't always super flattering. Even if you have all gray hair, just a tiny bit of warmth in the brows sometimes can make a big difference. For example, my aunt, she had her brows tattooed gray, and it just, when I used the brow powder on top and warmed them back up, it made her look so much younger. Even, you know, she's got a full head of gray hair and it's beautiful, but just a little bit of strength in the brow arch and a little bit of warmth really made her look so much younger. So maybe give that a try. So in there with that deeper shade. Now, when you get to the arch is when I tend to strengthen it up, and that's when I go for the deeper shade. I don't necessarily need it, you know, really dark and strong for the whole brow. Like I said, we want to keep this soft on the inner corner so that it looks like it's actual hair growing there, even if you don't have any hair left, or you plucked them all out and you were a gangster in the 90s and you plucked out all your brows. Now you're paying the price. It's okay. Still use a nice light powder to keep it soft right there. Then strengthen up the arch. So it gives your brow like a thickness, like an appearance that it's thicker, but then lighten it up at the tail here so it's not a block. Now, the reason why it's important to keep it strengthened up at the arch is because it will give that like thicker appearance, but that will make you look a little bit younger, because think about young girls or young ladies or little girls. They always have thick eyebrows and thick lashes, right? And we age, ours turn gray or fall out, or we plucked them all out, and that really kind of starts that aged look. So if you can kind of bring those brows back to life and give them a little bit of youth, not a blocky, you know, black electrical 2016 look, black electrical tape thing, but if you can just strengthen them up and bring back the beauty of the arch, it's gonna make a big difference in how your whole face looks. So let's finish this up and get to the other side. Now, back to brows really quick. If you're missing some spots, or maybe you have a scar in your brows, or, you know, one little spot is not growing in and you need to fill it in and the brow powder just isn't doing the trick, you may want to grab a tiny little micro pencil, and these are the roll-up kind, so they're really skinny, and you can just go in and give that definition in that area that maybe the powder just isn't doing the trick. But just remember to keep it soft and don't feel the need to just draw a brow. Okay, get in there and use feathery strokes and keep it really nice and light. All right, and as a matter of fact, let's go back to my friend Jackie really quick. Look at her brow before, and now look at her brow after. What a beautiful transformation. And I did that using the same technique you just saw me use on my own brow. Powder first, and then a little skinny pencil to go in and just add a little extra definition, feathery stroke after feathery stroke. So keep it easy, okay? Sometimes it takes a little practice, and once in a while, you may want to go have a consultation with a brow artist in your area too. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask for professional help. That's my PSA for the day. Get professional help, friend, if you're having a brow emergency. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and hop into mascara. You guys, I want you to please, if you are in the market for a new mascara, give this one a whack. This is called Tunnel Vision, and it is my new favorite. I have the Lift and Lengthen Linny that I love that has the silicone rubber floppy wand. I really like it, but this formula, this tubing mascara, has really got me shocked at how big it makes my lashes look, but without making them fat and like crusty and clumpy. So I'm really loving it. The wand is skinny, even though it's not the silicone one, but I'm loving how I can get it all the way to the root. Go slow, concentrate to the root, and then pull to the tip. And even if you get it in your eyeshadow and you make a mistake, because it's that tubing mascara formula, you can just brush it right away. So I love that it's kind of foolproof. Very, very smudge proof as well. All right, now once you get your mascara done, and I know what you're thinking, bam, her lashes look amazing. I know, because they do. I'm telling you that mascara is so good. But once you get that done, if you look at your overall eye look, and I say step back, you know, look at yourself like another human would look at you, at least an arm length away. It's so funny how we look at ourselves like this, and we're like, oh my God, this line, oh, this wrinkle, oh, this thing, right? And nobody else looks at you like that. You guys, hold your mirror an arm's length away, or stand an arm length away from your mirror and look at yourself. And you might be like, dang, I'm looking good today. Give yourself some grace, but remember, nobody is looking at you this close. I always say, if they are, get a restraining order. That is not okay. Nobody should be in your grill. But that includes yourself. Get a restraining order on yourself. But step back and look and see, okay, how does my eyeshadow look? Am I darker on one side? Is it nice and soft? Is it the look I was going for? I feel like I want to add just a little bit more depth on those outer corners. Sometimes when I get all the way to the end of like mascara, brows, everything, I feel like, I just wanted to add just a little bit more. So I'm going to take that dark brown that I used for the underneath, and I'm just going to put it right here with this fat brush. The bigger and fluffier the brush, usually the easier. It's more forgiving. And it's really out of line right here, but I'm not gonna worry about it, because you guys, when we go back with concealer, we'll really clean that up. See, it'll sharpen it up real nice. But I do like the extra depth I got right there. See what a difference that made? So I'll take just a tiny bit and go to the other side. And I'm just patting and dabbing, and now I'll begin to kind of push the product around a little bit more. Now that I know it's been placed where I want it, then I can begin to blend. But I'm being really careful at this point. Adding any more is just, it's a fine balance of if you're gonna screw it up or make it look better, you know? And sometimes it's best to get in and get out, but a lot of times I do like to add a little extra. Then I'll take a larger brush and just blend right underneath this area, because I don't want a lot of dark eyeshadow coming up to the brow here. It will close that eye off again, so I want to still keep it nice and light and bright right through here. I might even take a little bit of that lighter eyeshadow there, just brightening that up and then keeping the depth on those outer corners. Now I want to show you a trick with concealer. Now, everybody knows, you know, that we are doing the concealer mixed with the serum or with eye cream. It adds that moisture and it's wonderful. But you guys, I have the Lancome Tint Idol All Over Full Face Concealer here, and I use this quite often. I mean, Lancome's a good brand. I worked with Lancome for several years, but I just recently started using the Lime Life concealer because I found that like pinky shade, which is really brightening up under my eyes. But I also wanted to show you, where is it, you guys? So yeah, so the Lime Life Concealer, I wanted to show you the number 3. So a great comparison here, but I love the finish of this one so much. So even if you like something lighter, brighter, or if you like something to match your foundation better, I'm gonna take a little bit of this liquid foundation. And you guys, the way that it dries afterwards is so beautiful. It doesn't get thick and cakey and creasy under my eyes. So I'm gonna have to say that the Lime Life Concealer I started using has got to be one of my all-time favorites, even more so than the Lancome. And you guys know this is not cheap. This is a pretty hefty price tag for a concealer. But this one I started using from Lime Life, and you can find it in the cart in the description below with the eyeshadow and the eyeliner and the mascara. I'll put the concealer in there for you as well, so you can grab it if you want to give it a try. And I'm using number 3 today. So I've used number 1 several times, and it's a beautiful light pink and really gives a beautiful brightening. But today I wanted to show you how you could warm up underneath by using something that had just a little bit of yellow in it. Because when we're keeping the gray look under our eyes, that is definitely aging us. So warming up just a little bit is really going to give you a beautiful, youthful appearance, especially if you got darkness under there. You know, a lot of our darkness under our eyes has like a purple tone to it, even though we think of like dark circles, brownish color, but it's actually got some like purple tones to it. So if you warm it up, that's going to help correct it out and brighten it up. And look how beautiful and lifted and sculpted that looks just by highlighting right here. Okay, and now make sure it's nice and just airbrushed. I'm just patting and tapping. This is a giant sculpting brush. Now, if you have a smaller area, you want to use a smaller brush. It's just, you know, I have a pretty large area here, so I can get away with these big fat brushes. And I'm going to go over my lips just a little bit too with the concealer that's left in the brush. Okay, I want to talk about something that is definitely aging, my friends, and that is the need for dark lipstick alone with no lip liner and really just thinning your lips. Check me out. I look a little severe. So right now I've got a beautiful rosewood shade, and I'm going to outline my lips. I will overline very, very slightly, and I suggest if it's possible for you, you give it a try just a little bit. Not saying you have to do it all the time, but at least give it a try. So I'm going to start at the Cupid's bow and go like this. Really tighten up those lips, and I'm going to show you a trick. Already, look at the difference in size. Huge difference. But stay on the pink side, even if you're gonna go nude. Try to stay on the pink side if possible, okay? It's just gonna give you a more youthful look to your lips rather than going brown. Brown lips really do tend to age you. And I'm not saying everything you do has to be, you know, oh, I don't wanna age myself. If you love that brown lip liner with a pink lipstick, Pam Anderson throwback, whatever it is, just do it. If you love red, just do it. But I'm just giving you a couple of tips and tricks to help you out, and you just pick your favorites, like a buffet. Right in the middle. And I'm kind of throwing out my bottom lip, but you can tighten it if you want. Lots and lots of layers. Helps it stay longer too. Now I'm going to color it in just a little bit. It's not super even, and that's okay. That's not the point of what we're doing here today. I want to show you this long wear tip and how to make your lips look more plump and just really pretty. So now I'm going to go in with my number 109, just this beautiful nude. So yes, I'm mixing a nude lipstick with that rosewood lip liner. Right, now I'm going to do a little bit of gloss just to add some moisture, but absolutely to add that shine. I'm not a huge fan of matte lipstick on mature lips. A little bit of shine, shimmer, a sheen, even all kinds of SH words. It's gonna make your lips look really beautiful. And I'm gonna use this really pretty pink. It's got a nice, like, glittery shimmer to it. And I got it almost to the lip line. I didn't go all the way over it. I didn't get all the way to the edge. I used the lip line almost like just a little dam to hold all those lip products in. And look how pretty that is, you guys. All right, I'm gonna check everything out. Double check, you know, the eyes, make sure everything looks even. Concealer's great. Eyeliner is definitely staying put. The brows are straight. I'm really, really happy with everything, but now I want to just take a nice kind of finishing powder. I'm going to use my Lime Life Translucent. I like to take a compact with me, and usually a little tiny kabuki brush or just a little powder brush, so I can touch up like later in the day around 3, 4 o'clock. I tend to get a little shiny on my forehead, and I love this translucent powder because it just not only will be a great finishing step before you use your setting powder, but throughout the day, if you need to just buff and set, if you're creasing at all, this really does help, especially if you're like me and you're hot flashing at all, or, you know, it's stinking hot here in Yuma. It's super hot where I live in Arizona. So, you know, I got to watch out for that. Now I'm going to go back in with my bronzer and just rebronze a tiny bit right on the cheeks, just to bring everything back in. Right on my forehead a little bit, and just really light. Now at this point, you could even go back in with your blush if you felt like it began to disappear from the concealer step. And these are really just your finishing touches. So once I've completed everything, I like to go back, check it out, and complete any finishing steps I need, like teeth check. Now I'm gonna go in with a little bit of the Oil Strike setting spray. And it gives a really beautiful natural finish, but it really helps keep the oil at bay. So, you know, if you do get a little bit shiny later in the day, this is definitely worth the extra 1 second it takes to spray it on your face. All right, so now to see the giant 80s hair. And man, this morning I was getting down to some 80s music. Oh God, check it out. Yeah, this is adding some body. Yeah, so this morning I was listening to the 80s music and I was like, what a feeling! And then, you know, it gave me a flashback to the Flashdance movie, Flashback to Flashdance, sensing a theme. And that's, you know, shirt off the shoulder. And then next thing you know, I'm reliving the entire movie, and I'm a maniac, maniac on the floor. You guys, seriously, if you can't have this much fun when you're getting ready, you may want to think your routine. All right, let's get some fat hair. I'm really liking it though. All right, friends, and one last thing that could be aging you is not smiling enough. So make sure you have a great time doing your makeup, smile more than you should, and just know that I love and appreciate you so much. I hope you found some great tips and tricks today. I hope that you give them a try. I hope that you go ahead and give my members only area a whirl. Go ahead and check it out. And thank you so much to my new beauty besties, my level 1, 2, and 3 members. Thank you so much. And I just want you to know that I so appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, everyone.